In the heart of a world where power and prestige sway like a gentle breeze over a vast desert, they thought they could challenge me. The winds whispered of doubts and whispers of underestimation, but they failed to understand the magnitude of my resilience. I am the sheikh who stands not just for lineage or wealth, but for integrity and unwavering strength. They underestimated the depths of my soul, assuming my kindness was weakness, believing my patience was passivity. But little did they know, this very gentleness is my weapon, and now, the tides are turning. The road I walked wasn't one of mere luxury or ease, it was paved with struggles that no crown or title could shield me from. I fought my battles with grace, letting the world think I was merely a spectator. But every challenge faced, every obstacle overcome, it was shaping me into something they could never have foreseen. I've known pain, and I've turned it into purpose. The fire that once burned in my heart now rages as a storm they could never hope to control. They saw me as a figure to be toyed with, yet they didn't understand I am not one to be tested. To those who thought they could break me with their games, with their words, I stand before you now, untouched. For you, this was an experiment, a mere test of what you believed to be my limits. You pushed me, prodded me, and tried to corner me into submission. What you failed to realize is that no pressure in this world can crush the spirit of one who's been tempered by time, tradition, and the weight of responsibility. And now, the truth is unfolding in the most beautiful irony. While you thought you had the power, I've always been the one with the last laugh. In every glance you cast my way, every challenge you presented, you failed to see the power lying beneath the surface. It's not the outward strength that defines a man, it's the depth of his conviction. My kingdom, my family, and my heart have always been my guiding lights. You tested my loyalty, my patience, and my honor. But what you never expected was the return of that energy, multiplied, now stronger than before. The lessons I learned from your trials will echo for generations to come. As I stand tall amidst the weight of your regrets, I reflect on the nature of those who sought to undermine me. They were blinded by their desire to see me falter, to watch me fail. But their cruelty was the very thing that forged my rise. Every moment of doubt cast upon me only fueled the fire that now burns with an unstoppable intensity. I am a force they will not reckon with lightly, and as I watch them realize their miscalculation, I find no pleasure in their regret. It's merely the consequence of their actions. In the face of their doubt, I remained silent, patient, allowing them to think they had control. They believed my calm was a sign of weakness. But now, in the stillness of my triumph, I stand as proof that the strongest of men are often those who speak the least. Words are mere illusions. It is action that reveals the true nature of a person. And as they see the results of their attempts to break me, they realize that I was never the one in need of change. It was always them. Let it be known, those who test the sheikh will find that the limits they push will only reveal the boundless spirit within me. I will rise higher than they could ever have imagined. They tested my patience, my heart, and my loyalty. Now, I rise from the ashes of their doubt as something new, something greater. I've surpassed what they thought I could be. The world will now witness a force they can't contain, and when they look back, they'll realize that it was never me who was the test, it was them. The sands of time shift, and with each passing moment, their regret grows heavier. The path they thought they had paved for my fall now leads only to their downfall. You cannot challenge a man with a heart as fierce as mine without paying the price. The tests you put before me, the obstacles you set in my way, were merely stepping stones to something beyond your comprehension. I will reign not just as sheikh, but as the embodiment of the legacy you couldn't foresee. There's no need for revenge or bitterness in my heart. The universe has a way of balancing things out, of ensuring that those who seek to harm others are ultimately the ones who face the consequences of their actions. And so, as I stand at the summit of what they thought would be my ruin, I look down not with hatred but with a knowing smile. They tested me, and in doing so, they set in motion their own regrets. The fall is inevitable, but I will rise to watch. You will remember this moment. When you stood against me, thought you could break me, and took me for granted. I was the one who stood steady in the face of your storms, and now you will know the cost of underestimating the heart of a true ruler. I do not seek vengeance, for the truth has already been written in the stones of history. You will be left to face the consequences of your actions as I build a future beyond your reach, where the legacy of Sheikh Hamdan will be forever untouchable. As they look back, reflecting on their moves, they will see that the game was never one they could win. I didn't play by their rules, and I certainly didn't follow their script. They will come to understand that it was never about the test they gave me. It was about the heart, the soul, and the strength they underestimated. Now, as the world shifts around them, they will realize that it was they who were the true subjects in this grand story. And so, I stand, not just as a man who was tested, but as a man who proved that no trial, no matter how great, can ever break someone who was destined to rise above. They tested me, and now, as they face their regrets, I move forward with a heart untouched, a spirit unbroken, and a future that is mine to claim. The world will remember this day, for it is the day they truly learned what it means to test the Sheikh. They believed they were writing my ending, but unknowingly, they were drafting the beginning of a legend. Their judgment was clouded by arrogance, their pride too loud to hear the quiet thunder forming within me. When the storms raged around me, I didn't cry for shelter, I became the storm. I wore my pain like a crown and turned every disappointment into power. I smiled through betrayal, and in silence, I collected every scar like a badge of honor. Now, those who once scoffed at my gentleness are silenced by the roar of my rise. The echoes of my name are no longer just royalty, they are resistance, wisdom, and quiet vengeance wrapped in grace. The regret will be theirs to carry, and it will grow heavier with time. Because nothing stings deeper than realizing you misjudged royalty. You will see my smile in every moment of your silence, in every instance where my presence shines and your words fail. This isn't revenge, it's evolution. I did not come back to hurt, but to remind. To remind the world that grace is not weakness and silence is not surrender. I've learned to walk away with peace while you stand in the debris of your miscalculations. Those who watched and said nothing, the silent spectators, they too feel the burn now. For silence in the face of injustice is a hidden cruelty. But I forgive, for I have no time to linger in resentment. My days ahead are filled with light, with the laughter of loyalty and the sweet scent of truth. I write new stories now, ones that no longer begin with pain but with purpose. This is not a response, it is a rebirth. It is the beginning of an era led not by noise but by noble hearts and timeless strength. My name is not just a title, it is a vow. Hamdan, the name whispered with respect, sung with hope, and feared by those who tried to destroy it. The name you once doubted now lingers in your mind with undeniable weight. When I ride through my city, I no longer carry the burden of your trials, I carry the wisdom they brought. I am surrounded by loyalty not bought by gold, but earned by integrity. The empire I led is not built of bricks, but of hearts that beat with truth. Let it be etched into time, I rose not because of you, but in spite of you. And that will be the ache that follows you, long after your apologies fade into dust. I found my peace beyond the borders you tried to fence me within. I've stretched my arms beyond the limits of your imagination, and now my poetry is the wind that carries the truth to the furthest corners of the world. You tested me, yes, but you forgot. A man like me turns every test into a triumph. Your regret is not mine to carry. I hand it back to you wrapped in elegance, spoken through verses that will haunt your pride. You'll hear my strength in every line I ever wrote, in every stanza you once mocked. And you will feel it in the silence I now leave behind, a silence more deafening than any words I could ever speak. My revenge, if it can be called that, is simply this. I kept rising while you kept waiting for my fall. I now speak not as a wounded soul but as a ruler who understands the value of scars. They are no longer a source of pain but a signature of survival. I have transformed every moment of betrayal into a beam of brilliance. I am no longer the man you could hurt, I am the man you'll now see shining every time you close your eyes. And the weight of that truth will live longer than any illusion you once clung to. To my people, to those who never doubted, who held my name with love even when it was covered in dust, I see you, I rise for you. This kingdom was not made by chance, but by choice, by character, by courage. We move forward together. Your loyalty will never go unnoticed, for you are the real architects of this rise. This story is as much yours as it is mine. And so, I close this chapter not with vengeance, but with vision. They tested me, and now they regret it. But I thank them quietly, for without their fire, I would have never known how brightly I could burn. Let this be a reminder to all. Never test a man who walks with the truth, who carries his wounds with pride, and whose silence is stronger than your loudest war cry. I am Sheikh Hamdan, not just tested, but transformed.